Good evening, friends. Important video on the recent 52nd GST Council meeting held on 7th of October 2023. This GST recommendation, as per press release issued, is divided into three categories. The first one, they are major for trade facilitation, major for amendment in law and procedure, and then there is GST rate change for goods or services. Let's start with in trade facilitation major. Point number one, important one. Amnesty scheme is being announced for all those taxable persons who could not file appeal before first appellate authority under section 107 subsection 1 of CGST Act for any order passed under section 73 non-fraud case or section 74 for fraud case, who could not file appeal within time as per 107 subsection 1 of CGST Act, and such order are being passed on or before 31st March 2023, or those who have filed the appeal but their appeal got rejected being time barred because that was not filed within the time period defined, which is 3 months plus 1 month for condonation in case of sufficient cause exists under section 107 subsection 1 of CGST Act. So there is amnesty scheme for these taxable persons. Under this amnesty scheme, the special procedure going to be announced and the important parameter as recommended that now you can file appeal before first appellate authority against all impugned order in original. Either you could not file appeal or you filed appeal but got rejected being time barred. This window is going to be open for you, and you can file such appeal till 31st January 2024. With the condition, you have to make at least 12.5% pre-deposit of disputed tax. Originally it is 10% of disputed tax under section 107, but for this special amnesty scheme it is 12.5%, and wherein minimum 20%, that is 2.5% of disputed tax to be deposited through e-cash ledger. सिंपल. अगर आप अपील नहीं फाइल कर पाए फॉर एनी ऑर्डर passed under section 73 or 74 and that order passed on or before 31st March 2023, आप अपील नहीं फाइल कर पाए या आपने अपील फाइल की लेकिन गॉट रिजेक्टेड बीइंग टाइम बार्ड, आपको एक स्पेशल प्रोसीजर एमनेस्टी स्कीम मिलेगी. आप अपील फाइल कर पाएंगे बाय 31st जनवरी 2024 तक. आपको मिनिमम 12.5% प्री डिपॉजिट करना पड़ेगा ऑफ डिस्प्यूटेड टैक्स ओनली, जिसमें 20% विच इज 2.5% आपको कंपल्सरली ई कैश लेजर से जमा करना पड़ेगा. दिस इज द फर्स्ट ट्रेड facilitation measure. Coming to the second one, an important one. If any director giving personal guarantee in his own capacity to the bank or any financial institution for any loan or credit limit taken by the company, dispute was whether GST leviable or not leviable. GST Council has now recommended that value for such personal guarantee given by director of a company to the bank or financial institution for any loan or credit limit obtained by the company, value going to be zero, unless any consideration is being given by the company to the director directly or indirectly. अगर आपने कोई पर्सनल गारंटी बैंक को दी है फॉर एनी लोन और क्रेडिट लिमिट फॉर योर कंपनी, उसके ऊपर अब जीएसटी नहीं लगेगा. वैल्यू गोइंग टू बी जीरो, ओपन मार्केट वैल्यू गोइंग टू बी जीरो. बस आपने कोई कंसिडरेशन डायरेक्टर को नहीं दिया हो डायरेक्टली या इनडायरेक्टली. Important one. But what happened to corporate guarantee between related parties? We have seen that holding company giving guarantee to the bank and financial institution for any loan or credit limit obtained by the subsidiary company. So holding company and subsidiary companies are considered as related parties or group company giving corporate guarantee. In that case, what would be the taxability? Big disputed item, and the recommendation H. They are going to insert sub-rule 2 under rule 28 of CGST rules. And in that sub-rule they are saying the value, taxable value for such corporate guarantee would be 1% of your guarantee amount. 1% of guarantee amount or actual consideration which is being given for this corporate guarantee, whichever is higher. Whichever is higher. And they are going to issue a circular to clarify that this sub-rule 2, rule 28 going to be applicable now, irrespective of fact whether recipient of service is entitled to avail credit or not. पर्सनल गारंटी में हमने समझ लिया कि अब जीएसटी नहीं लगेगा एंड वैल्यू वुड बी जीरो. बट कॉर्पोरेट गारंटी के केस में इन्होंने कहा कि रूल 28 में एक सब रूल 2 को इंसर्ट किया जाएगा और उसमें टैक्सेबल वैल्यू फॉर कॉर्पोरेट गारंटी मान ली जाएगी 1% ऑफ टोटल गारंटी अमाउंट और एक्चुअल कंसिडरेशन अगर आपने दिया है विच एवर इज हायर. एंड गवर्नमेंट एक सर्कुलर भी इशू करेगी टू क्लैरिफाई that this sub rule 2 of rule 28 now going to be applicable irrespective of fact के recipient को credit मिलती है या नहीं मिलती. Good one, disputed one. Come to the third component. Automatic restoration for the provisional attachment of property by the Commissioner under Section 83 of CGST Act, read with Rule 159 Sub-Rule 2, whenever any Commissioner is of the opinion to protect the government revenue, he pass an order for provisional attachment of property under Section 83 of CGST Act. And that order is valid for 1 year as per the provision. But we have seen a lot of litigation in the trade that even after 1 year that is continued, hence creating a problem. So GST Council has recommended now DRC 22, form DRC 22, which is being used for provisional attachment of property, shall not be valid after 1 year. So by default, maximum time period would be 1 year. So you need not require to take any special permission. After 1 year, this provisional attachment order gets vacated. अगर आपकी प्रॉपर्टी को प्रोविजनली अटैच कर दिया गया है अंडर सेक्शन 83, रेड विथ रूल 159 सब रूल 2, वाइट फॉर्म नंबर GST DRC 22, जो 1 साल के लिए वैलिड होती है। लेकिन हमने देखा कई केस में 1 साल से बियॉन्ड ये प्रोविजनल अटैचमेंट का चलता रहता है, और कई हाई कोर्ट के जजमेंट हैं कि 1 साल से ज़्यादा ये वैलिड नहीं है। तो उन्होंने अब ये कह दिया है कि बाय डिफ़ॉल्ट जो प्रोविजनल अटैचमेंट ऑर्डर पास होगा वो 1 साल से बियॉन्ड वैलिड नहीं होगा, यानी आपका 1 साल में ख़त्म हो जाएगा। आपको अलग से कोई कमिश्नर से ऑर्डर लेने की ज़रूरत नहीं है। इट्स अ ट्रेड फैसिलिटेशन मेजर। इनने ये कहा, चौथा पॉइंट, कि एक सर्कुलर इशू करेंगे टू क्लैरिफाई प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई। 3 ट्रांजैक्शन इन्हें आइडेंटिफाई किए जीएसटी काउंसिल ने जिस पे सर्कुलर आएगा। पहला होगा अंडर सेक्शन 13 सबसेक्शन 9 ऑफ IGST एक्ट। You must be knowing that supply of transportation of goods, including mail or courier, when supplier or recipient of service is located outside India, got omitted from 1st October 2023. Now the dispute persists. So what happened in that case? What would be place of supply? It is going to be default provision under section 13 subsection 2. Quite obvious. Location of recipient now going to be place of supply. If you are not having address in your record, then the location of supplier. So they are going to issue a circular. सेक्शन 13 सबसेक्शन 9 जो ये कहता है ट्रांसपोर्टेशन ऑफ गुड्स, सप्लाई ऑफ सर्विस बाय वे ऑफ ट्रांसपोर्टेशन ऑफ गुड्स इंक्लूडिंग मेल और कोरियर, 13(9) को ऑमिट कर दिया गया 1 अक्टूबर 2023 से। अब बाय डिफॉल्ट रूल जो है सेक्शन 13 सबसेक्शन 2 एप्लीकेबल होगा। बोर्ड अब आपको सर्कुलर इशू करेगी, क्लैरिफाई करेगी ये ओमिशन है, इसका इम्पैक्ट क्या होगा। क्वाइट ऑब्वियस। अब लोकेशन ऑफ रिसिपिएंट को प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई माना जाएगा अंडर सेक्शन 13 सबसेक्शन 2 ऑफ IGST एक्ट। दूसरा उन्होंने कहा एडवर्टाइजिंग सर्विसेज के ऊपर भी सर्कुलर इशू होगा, और कोलोकेशन ऑफ सर्विसेज इसके ऊपर भी वो सर्कुलर इशू करेंगे। These are the clarification on place of supply. Next, for export of services, you must be knowing under section 2 subsection 6 of IGST Act, there are 5 conditions to be satisfied. Supplier must be located in India, recipient should be outside India, place of supply should be outside India, and you should receive money in convertible foreign exchange, and supplier and recipient should not be merely establishment of distinct person. The issue was, if I am receiving consideration in INR, not in convertible foreign exchange, is it going to be export of services? Lot of dispute. GST Council has now recommended, if it is permitted by RBI, you can receive the consideration in special Vostro account in INR, and that will be satisfying the condition under section 2 subsection 6 of IGST Act to be termed as export of services. एक्सपोर्ट ऑफ सर्विसेज के लिए डिस्प्यूट था कि आप कंसीडरेशन अगर INR में लेके आते हैं तो क्या एक्सपोर्ट ऑफ सर्विसेज माना जाएगा। तो इन्होंने कहा अगर RBI परमिट करता है तो आप स्पेशल INR वॉस्ट्रो अकाउंट में पैसा लेके आए, परमिटेड बाय RBI। आपकी कंडीशन under section 2 subsection 6 of IGST Act to termed as export of services मान ली जाएगी। छठवां जो इंपॉर्टेंट वन, एक अमेंडमेंट आया नोटिफिकेशन नंबर 1/2023 इंटीग्रेटेड टैक्स 31 जुलाई 2023। सेक्शन 16 ऑफ IGST एक्ट में भी चेंज आया। Supply of goods or services to SEZ unit or developer should be for authorized operation. But ये जो notification जिसको मैंने रेफर किया 1/2023 integrated tax, now it is restricted for certain goods like pan masala, tobacco, alcohol, like these are the product pan masala, tobacco and gutka, basically gutka, I must correct, gutka, etc. They have said that supplier can supply goods or services except these items to SEZ unit or developer on payment of IGST and claim refund of IGST permissible. So 1/2023 is giving a list what all items are now being excluded, on which you can't do zero rated on payment of IGST. So this is for trade facilitation measure. Coming to the second category, measure under law and procedure. The first one, we all are looking that GST tribunal, formation of GST tribunal. GST Council has now made recommendation that they are going to align section 110 of CGST Act with Tribunal Reforms Act 2021, and thereby now they are stating that the minimum age for appointment of president and member of GST tribunal is going to be 50 years minimum age, with 10 years of experience in indirect taxes, either in tribunal, high court or Supreme Court, can be appointed as a president or member of GST tribunal. And they would be having tenure till their maximum age of 70 years for the president and 67 years for the members for GST tribunal. Having said that, second measure for law and procedure. In second case, ISD, input service distributor, under section 20 red bit section 2 subsection 61 of CGST Act, red bit rule 39 of CGST rule. Now ISD going to be made compulsory, mandatory, but prospectively. Now if HO, head office, is procuring any third party services which is related to HO and branches, or entirely related to one branch or more than one branch, then distribution of ITC on input services to be done through ISD mechanism. Why this amendment? Because we have seen in the past that many registered person has followed cross-charge method as against ISD method. But now it is made that they are going to recommend and make the changes in the law to make it mandatory prospectively. If it is ISD, input service distributor, when procuring third-party services for input services, must be distributed through ISD mechanism. That is pertaining to law and procedure. Coming to the third category, changes in GST rates. The first one pertaining to goods. When there is food preparation from millets in powder forms, where 70% it is containing from millets only, GST rate going to be nil if it is sold out in a loose form. If it is pre-packaged and labeled, then 5% GST rate going to be applicable. ENA, extra neutral alcohol, used for manufacturing of alcoholic liquor for human consumption, going to be outside the GST. No GST going to be leviable. Why this clarification? Because we have seen in the past that VAT is also being charged and GST also being demanded on this ENA used for manufacturing of alcoholic liquor for human consumption. They are saying it is going to be outside the GST, and the law committee is going to look at the provision and then make changes accordingly. Third, they are going to provide 8-digit HSN code specifically for rectified spirit for industrial use under Custom Tariff Act. I'm going to make corresponding change in goods rate notification 1/2017 to prescribe levy of 18% GST on ENA for industrial use. So this is pertaining to change, important change, GST rate change for goods. Coming to some of the service changes, that I'm just picking up examples. The detail, some of the changes you can check in the press release which is given in the description box. I'm just picking up some of the few items which is important one. Job work services from barley to malt going to be 5% and not 18%, like job work for the food and food preparation. There was confusion. When job work services undertaken from barley to malt, what would be GST rate, 5% or 18%? They have clarified 5%. Second clarity given that serial number 3 and 3A of notification number 12/2017 CGST, which is service exemption notification under CGST, that pure services or composite services to central government, state government, UT and local authority, pure or composite services, which is related to function entrusted to panchayat or municipality in Article 243G or W, 243G, 243W, continue to be exempted. Maybe there was some confusion, so they have said they will clarify accordingly pertaining to this exemption is continued. So I picked up the important recommendation coming out from 52nd GST Council meeting. It's a quick स्नैपशॉट। आई हैव ट्राइड माई बेस्ट कि आपको इजी लैंग्वेज में ये रिकमेंडेशन समझ में आ जाए। डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में प्रेस रिलीज है, और जो हमारे न्यूज़लेटर A to Z टैक्स कॉप LLP जो 52nd GST काउंसिल मीटिंग के ऊपर पब्लिश किए हैं हमने, वो सारी लिंक हमने आपको डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में दे दी है। स्टे ट्यून्ड। थैंक्स फॉर वॉचिंग। थैंक यू वेरी मच।